A burst of gunfire suddenly echoed through the air. The bullets scraped across the yacht instead of hitting anyone and produced a sharp, metallic sound. A filthy-looking guard leaned out from the watchtower and shouted, "Who are you? Why did you come here?" Hyun looked toward the watchtower and immediately recognized this place. It was the University of Science and Engineering, the location where the mutated Rat King would eventually appear. Without showing the slightest panic, he walked to the front of the yacht and answered calmly, "We're here to join the evolution base. Please open the gate and let us enter." The dirty guard glanced at Hyun with complete contempt because he didn't look impressive at all. But the moment his eyes landed on Selena wearing a bunny girl outfit, his expression completely changed. A greedy smile slowly spread across his face. "Now that's a beautiful bunny girl. Spend the night with me, and I'll let you inside. As for you, kid, get lost." Hyun and Selena exchanged a brief look. Neither of them looked surprised because they had already expected something like this. Hyun ignored the man's shameless words and quietly signaled Selena. She stepped forward, carrying a steaming plate of braised pork. The rich aroma quickly spread through the air as she smiled gently. "Big brother, if you help us open the gate, this plate of braised pork is yours." Ever since the apocalypse began, meat had become an unbelievable luxury. The guard stared at the food with wide eyes. Braised pork. Is that really braised pork? Unable to control himself anymore, he immediately shouted toward his subordinate, "Lu Tao, hurry up and open the gate right now! I haven't eaten meat in forever." Although Lu Tao looked puzzled, he still followed the order without hesitation. The massive university gate slowly creaked open, and Hyun guided the yacht inside while Selena stood beside him. The moment they entered the base, the guard jumped down and walked over with an arrogant expression. "Park your boat over there. Then hand me that braised pork." The greedy guard impatiently waved him away. "Move aside, this is all mine." What he failed to realize was that Selena had already activated her mental ability. The delicious braised pork he believed he was holding was actually the severed arm of a water ghost. Her illusion had completely fooled his senses. He happily grabbed it and shouted with excitement, "This smells incredible. Because of this amazing meal, I'll let you stay here." After saying that, he ordered Lu Tao to escort the newcomers deeper into the university. Lu Tao ignored his superior, who was still drooling over his fake feast, and politely led Hyun and Selena forward. "Since you've already entered the base, we're on the same side now. I'll show you around. The elderly, children, and ordinary survivors stay on the lower floors. I'll take you upstairs where the rooms are cleaner." While speaking, he accidentally bumped into a little girl who could barely stay on her feet. Annoyed, he frowned. "Watch where you're going, kid." The little girl fell onto the ground and apologized in a trembling voice. "I'm sorry. I just feel really dizzy." The moment Selena saw her condition, she immediately rushed over and gently helped her up. Her medical instincts instantly told her what was wrong. The little girl wasn't sick, she was starving. Selena softly asked, "Where are your parents?" The child held her empty stomach and answered weakly. "They went out to search for food. They still haven't come back." Feeling sorry for her, Selena reached into her coat and pulled out a piece of bread before placing it into the girl's hands. "Here, eat this first." The little girl hesitated instead of taking it. "But if I eat your bread, then you'll be hungry too, Bunny Sister." Hearing herself called Bunny Sister made Selena blush slightly. Even Hyun couldn't remain indifferent after seeing the girl's pitiful condition. He stepped forward with a small smile. "Don't worry, Bunny Sister won't go hungry. Just eat." The little girl still looked doubtful. "You're lying. Everyone is hungry these days." Hyun smiled helplessly. Since she refused to believe him, he decided to show her. With a casual wave of his hand, a huge Thai-style spicy and sour rib hot pot appeared from his dimensional storage. Lu Tao froze in complete disbelief. "A hot pot? Where did that come from?" The starving little girl's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Wow, it's really a hot pot." Then she innocently looked at Hyun. "Big brother, I want to be your wife too." Her childish words instantly left Selena speechless. Her expression darkened as she quickly stuffed the bread into the little girl's mouth. Children shouldn't say things like that. "Just eat your bread." Before anyone could react, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed from behind them. An arrogant voice followed soon after. "Interesting. Someone is actually cooking here." 3 rough-looking thugs marched over while kicking aside everything blocking their path. "Move." They shouted at the frightened survivors. "Don't you know the rules? Hiding food is against the law. Every bit of food must be handed over first. Only contribution points can be exchanged for supplies." The thug with flashy hair slowly looked around before glaring at everyone. "Which one of you idiots decided to break the rules?" The little girl immediately hid behind Selena in fear. "Bunny Sister, Selena gently patted her head. Don't worry, I'll make them speak politely. She quietly glanced toward Hyun. He immediately understood what she meant and gave her a slight nod. Selena smiled gently before looking at the three thugs. You all seem tired after walking so much. Why don't you enjoy a proper meal first? The moment she finished speaking, a faint red glow flashed across her eyes as she activated her mental ability. In an instant, the empty space before the three men transformed into a magnificent feast. Their eyes were filled with roasted chicken, premium beef, fresh fish, braised pork, and countless delicious dishes that seemed impossible to find after the apocalypse. Their mouths instantly watered. Meat, so much meat. Smells incredible. Nobody steal it from me. The three men rushed forward like starving animals and began stuffing the imaginary food into their mouths while completely ignoring everything around them. The thug with flashy hair chewed happily while staring at Selena with a shameless grin. You're not only beautiful, you're smart too. I'll let today's mistakes slide because of this meal. Then he turned toward Hyun, and his expression became cold. But you, since you're new here and broke the rules, you still have to be punished. Hyun didn't look worried at all. Punished? How exactly? The thug let out a cold laugh before waving his hand. Bring them out. Several lackeys immediately dragged two chained men into the area. Their entire bodies were covered with swollen veins, and their eyes had completely lost their reason. They looked more like monsters than humans. The thug folded his arms. Your punishment is simple. Fight these two. Either you kill them or they kill you. Hyun carefully observed both prisoners and quickly recognized them. They were the same two brothers he had met during the flood. He couldn't understand what had happened to them. At that moment, the little girl beside Selena suddenly froze before crying out, Big brother! Second brother! Without thinking, she rushed toward them. Please let my brothers go! Selena immediately caught the little girl before she could get close. Don't go near them. Something is seriously wrong with them. The nearby thugs continued eating the imaginary feast while speaking through full mouths. Those two failed their mission and couldn't pay the required contribution points. That's why they were sentenced to death. But killing them immediately would be boring. So we decided to keep them alive for entertainment. The flashy-haired thugs smirked after hearing the little girl call them brothers. Well, this just became much more interesting. If this newcomer loses, we'll throw your brothers and their little sister into the water together and let the water ghosts enjoy the meal. Hyun quietly studied the two brothers. Their minds were completely gone. It looked as though some kind of drug had forced them into a violent frenzy. Just then, the one-eyed thug standing nearby ordered his men to release them. The chains were unlocked. The instant they were free, both brothers roared like wild beasts before charging straight at Hyun. Anyone else would have been overwhelmed immediately. Unfortunately, for them, they had chosen the wrong opponent. Hyun calmly raised a single arm and waited for them to come closer. The surrounding thugs laughed. They thought Hyun had frozen in fear, but the next second, everything changed. With unbelievable speed, Hyun struck the older brother across the neck with one powerful blow. Before the younger brother could react, Hyun spun around and delivered a crushing backhand across his face. Both brothers collapsed onto the ground instantly. Neither of them could even stand back up. The little girl screamed in panic. Big brother. She struggled desperately to run toward them again. Selena tightly held her in place while gently comforting her. Don't worry, they're only unconscious. They'll be fine. The one-eyed thug watched the entire fight with disbelief. His surprise quickly turned into anger. What a pair of useless idiots. Then he looked directly at Hyun. Since I'm in a good mood today, I'll pretend none of this happened. Hand over every supply you brought and I'll let you stay alive. Hyun looked back at him without the slightest fear. Why should I give my supplies to you? One of the thug's followers immediately stepped forward. Kid, everyone inside the university follows Boss Luo's rules. If you want to survive here, you either gather supplies or complete missions. Only then can you earn contribution points. The one-eyed thug proudly nodded. That's how this place works. Nobody gets free food. Hearing the words contribution points made Hyun slightly curious. Contribution points. What exactly are they? Although they weren't real money, they clearly served as the currency created by whoever controlled this base. After thinking for a moment, Hyun answered calmly, Those rules sound reasonable. Too bad. You already finished eating our last bit of food. Just as his words fell, another unfamiliar voice echoed from behind the crowd. If you want contribution points. Why not work for me instead? Everyone immediately turned toward the source of the voice. A deep voice suddenly echoed through the area. If you're looking for contribution points, why not come work for me instead? Everyone turned toward the speaker. A massive, obese man slowly walked out from the crowd. His body was so enormous that he looked almost inhuman. He wore strange clothing that resembled tribal attire, and the one-eyed thug immediately lowered his head in fear. Every thug around him respectfully greeted him. This man was none other than Taesung. Hyun and Selena also looked toward him with surprise. Standing beside Taesung was a miserable-looking man whose mouth had been forced open with a thick wooden stick that was tightly tied across his face. Only a few of his teeth were still visible. It was obvious he had been tortured. Even more shocking was the way Taesung moved around. Instead of walking normally, he sat proudly on a crudely built sedan chair, while several broken survivors carried him on their backs like slaves. A half-dressed young woman sat beside him, as if she were nothing more than another possession. The exhausted carriers struggled beneath the unbelievable weight. The entire scene looked like something straight out of ancient times, where slaves were treated worse than animals. Suddenly, one of the men carrying the chair lost his balance and collapsed onto the ground. Taesung frowned with annoyance. Without saying another word, a long spear suddenly appeared in his hand. Before anyone could react, he threw it with terrifying force. The spear pierced straight through the man's chest. The poor survivor screamed in agony before coughing out blood. Moments later, his body went limp. He died where he fell. Seeing someone murdered over such a small mistake sent a chill through both Hyun and Selena. They had taken lives before, but only to protect themselves. These people killed without hesitation simply because they felt like it. Taesung rested his chin on one hand before looking at Hyun's group with complete indifference. "I'm short on workers," he pointed toward Hyun. "That kid will replace the man who just died." Then his eyes slowly moved towards Selena. "As for you, serve me from now on, if you do. I'll reward you with a box of fresh meat or instant noodles every single day." Food production disappeared long ago after the apocalypse. Receiving that much food is a privilege. As he spoke, Taesung casually pulled the woman beside him into his arms with a disgusting smile. It was obvious he had already grown tired of her. The moment he saw Selena, he immediately became interested. A woman as beautiful as her was an extremely rare sight in the apocalypse. The one-eyed thug quickly stepped forward and eagerly agreed. "Our boss is giving you a chance to survive. You should be grateful." Another thug laughed excitedly. "Looks like we finally got lucky. Once the boss keeps the new girl, we can split the old one among ourselves." Before anyone could celebrate, Taesung suddenly narrowed his eyes. "Hold on, what's that smell? What were all of you eating just now?" Those simple words instantly drained the color from every thug's face. Cold sweat poured down their foreheads. They had secretly eaten meat without reporting it to Taesung first, to him. That was an unforgivable crime. The entire group immediately dropped to their knees and repeatedly slammed their heads against the ground. "Boss, please forgive us. We swear it won't happen again. No matter how little food we find in the future, you'll always get the first share." Taesung tells the group, "Whatever you just ate wasn't even fit for consumption." Hyun and Selena quietly exchanged confused looks. Neither of them understood how Taesung had noticed anything. Selena's mental illusion should have fooled everyone. The kneeling thugs also looked completely confused. But as soon as Selena lifts her mind control, every one of them suddenly froze. Their expressions twisted with horror. They clutched their stomachs in pain as cold sweat poured down their faces. The leader starts gagging, then spits blood. The whole group panics, clutching their stomachs. They can't figure out why they feel so much pain, or what they actually just ate meat, or those sea monsters. They all make a dash for the toilet. Watching them run, Taesung can't help but think, why did I ever let these idiots into my group? One day, I'll just get rid of them all. Hyun, observing this from a distance, thinks to himself, I didn't sense any power from this guy. But somehow, he broke through Selena's mind control, and the moment he showed up, everyone else snapped out of it too. I have no idea what abilities he might have, if any, but it's clear dealing with this guy might not be easy. He glances at the scared girl sitting nearby and instantly understands, no, it won't be easy at all. While Hyun is deep in thought, Taesung speaks up again. So, have you made up your mind? I gave you an offer. Hyun gives him a serious look, pauses for a couple seconds, and thinks, if I kill him now, things will get a lot more complicated for me. For now, I should just focus on finding the mutated rat and collecting its gem to boost my power. Only then will I decide how to handle Taesung. With a dismissive glance, Hyun answers, I'm not interested in joining your team, and I'm not working for you. Taesung just laughs. Don't worry. Sooner or later, you'll come crawling back, begging me for a place. That day isn't far. He then tells Seojun, the guide, you take this guy's place and hurry up. Seojun agrees, no problem. He takes the spot and gets moving. As they all move on, Hyun is lost in his own thoughts. Selena glances at Hyun, looking apologetic. Sorry, she says, I couldn't control Taesung at all. His mental strength is off the charts. And in my effort, I actually lost control over everyone else too. Selena's voice pulls Hyun out of his thoughts. He tells her, there's nothing to worry about. I did notice one thing though, none of these people died even after eating sea monsters. That means everyone here is a little strange, and from this point on, we need to be extremely careful. From behind, someone walks toward them and says, you've just offended a member of the Royal Guard meaning Taesung. Now he definitely won't let you go, and you're bound to have trouble. Hyun glances back and sees a man advancing, gray hair under a bandana, hoodie pulled tight. The man lifts his hood back and urges Hyun, hurry, come with me. His tone is dead serious. Hyun stares at the man and asks, do we know each other, or do you at least know who I am? The man looks surprised and says, you really don't remember me? I'm Ethan Noah's roommate. Last time you came here to visit Noah, we met right outside the dorm. While all this is happening, Taesung finds his seat, hands resting heavily on both sides of the chair. He's so massive, he can barely move. Seojun, exhausted from carrying all that weight for the first time in his life, hears Taesung give him an order. Go and keep an eye on Hyun and that girl. They're not supposed to leave. Seojun glances back, wipes the sweat from his brow, and says, sure, why not? He rushes off, now acting as a lookout in place of a teammate. Meanwhile, Taesung silently thinks about Selena. In these times, meeting a beautiful girl like her is 1 in a million. She's not just pretty, she also seems really clean. He makes up his mind about her. Ethan brings Hyun and Selena into a central building, one connected to other old, nearly broken bridges. Inside a crowded room, they set up a drip for Gina Brother and start treating him. There isn't much medicine left, but Selena jumps straight into action, finally proving how skilled she actually is as a doctor. She sits beside the boy, places one hand on his chest, then glances at the little sister nearby. Your brother's out of danger now, she says. He'll need time to recover, but he's safe. Relief washes over the young girl, who hugs Selena and says, you're the best. You saved my brother. The room is busy. Some people are sitting, some lying down, all sick, all being treated. Hyun, hands in his pockets, approaches Ethan and asks, do all the students live here now? Yes. All the boys and girls who survived, everyone's taken refuge here. Ethan looks at Hyun for a long moment. Noah helped everyone who could, he explains. That's why in the end, the field department decided to turn this building into a base. Hyun asks, field department? What field department? Just then, a shadow appears. Someone with a gun slung over his shoulder steps forward and boasts, our field department was so good that even if a toady showed up, we could take it down and win. He steps out of the darkness, tall and looking ready for anything. The newcomer is armed, gun in hand, a row of knives strapped behind him, a sturdy suit of armor, and a diver's mask covering his face. He looks straight at Hyun and asks, are you interested in joining our field department? Before Hyun can respond, Ethan recognizes the man right away. He goes to Hyun with both arms open and says, guess who I brought with me today? Hyun, still a bit confused with his hands in his pockets, tries to figure out who this is. But the man quickly pulls off his mask. It's Noah. His face is lit up with joy and disbelief. He runs forward and hugs Hyun, eyes closing, nearly tearing up. Do you know how happy I am you're alive? Noah says. Seeing Noah, Hyun feels an unexpected wave of happiness too. Meeting a friend during these times and knowing you're both alive is a rare miracle. Noah announces, tonight we're having drinks. I finally got back to the field department, and today I even found you after all this time. He turns around and suddenly starts sweating. His eyes go wide as he spots Selena, staring for a moment in pure shock. I know her, Noah says to the group. She was the most beautiful girl in our university, the cold goddess of beauty. He can't seem to look away. Selena strikes a modest pose and says, that's all ancient history. There's no need to bring that up in front of everyone. But Noah is too starstruck to listen. He keeps pestering Ethan in a half daze. How is that goddess standing here in front of us in this? He stops, seeing Selena's current outfit, and nearly blurts out a yell. Ethan covers his ears, muttering, how long is he going to keep shouting? Selena comes over to Hyun, puts a hand on his chest and says quietly, I feel embarrassed like this. Would you mind if I change my clothes? Standing around the students like this doesn't feel right. Hyun rests a hand on her waist. You're right. It's definitely time for a change. Ethan and Noah, both watching, start to feel the heat rising and even get nosebleeds from the scene. Ethan clenches both fists in frustration, wondering, why is Hyun allowed to hug her? Noah struggles to keep his jealousy under control. The college goddess now hanging around a guy like Hyun? Noah quickly regains composure and leads Selena to a private room. You can use this to change, he offers, setting her bag down just inside. Selena steps inside and notices that this room is much nicer than the others in the building. Noah waits outside, worrying, did she bring any luggage with her? How's she going to change clothes? Where did she even get another outfit from? Meanwhile, Hyun throws Noah a serious look. Are most of your missions usually this dangerous? He's clearly changing the topic. Noah lifts his mask up. Is there any mission that isn't dangerous these days? Honestly, I think we've just been lucky not to face the worst of the apocalypse yet. Noah looks at Hyun and says, why don't you just stay here? You shouldn't leave this place. If you stay, I can look out for you. And if you want, you could even join my team. Then he adds more firmly, and someone like Selena, such a skilled doctor, doesn't need to go outside at all. She can stay here and treat all the patients safely. He adds, let me give you a piece of advice. So listen closely. I get it, your girlfriend is insanely pretty, probably the most beautiful you've ever dated. But you can't just show her off everywhere you go. I can't believe you've been walking around with her like this, especially in those clothes. What were you even thinking? This is the post-apocalypse. Beautiful girls are rare these days, and anyone powerful enough, someone with food and resources, will definitely try to mess with her. Hyun shoots him a confused look and says, you really don't have to worry. I know how to take care of her, and I always will. Noah walks up and knocks him lightly on the head, reminding him, don't forget your promise. Remember high school? Who was always jumping in to help you when you couldn't defend yourself? That was me. Meanwhile, inside the room, Selena starts changing her clothes. Outside, Noah keeps talking, telling Hyun, every time Taesung takes an interest in a girl, it never ends well for her. He's not a good person, especially if the girl's as beautiful as Selena. Then things just get even worse. Taesung won't back off, he's not the type to give up. While Selena is getting changed, two eyes suddenly show up behind her. Someone's in the room, clutching a knife, ready to attack. The blade slides close to her neck and a harsh voice orders, don't move. That's when we see the intruder. She's the same girl Hyun faced at the Institute, the one who hung back after he took everyone else down. Terrified by the knife, Selena asks, who are you? What do you want from me? The girl steps closer, placing a hand on Selena's chest and says, Taesung sent me. He wants to see you. He wants you to help him with a few things. She leans in even closer and adds, with a face like yours, you can't stick around with these losers forever. Selena looks back at her calmly and says, there's plenty of space here, and I'm happy where I am. The other girl shakes her head. That's not happening. Taesung asked for you specifically. You don't have a choice. As she speaks, her eyes begin to glow, and suddenly finds herself trapped in Selena's mind control. Sweat beads on her forehead as she tries to fight back but can't. Selena orders her, let go of me. The attacker's grip loosens. Her knife drops away from Selena's neck, and she stumbles back a couple steps, dazed, thinking, what's going on? Why am I letting her go? Why can't I control my legs? Selena turns to watch her, struggling to keep the girl under her mental hold. It's tough, but she can manage for a while. She gives a final command, don't move. Lower your head and keep staring at the ground. Selena takes the chance to slip out of the room, thinking, Hyun's the one who should be handling this mess, not me. This really isn't my thing. But the girl keeps struggling, slowly working her way free from Selena's mind control. She lifts the knife, preparing to strike, and then, shockingly, she doesn't go after Selena at all. She drives the blade straight into her own hand. The pain is searing, so intense, she clenches her teeth and screams out loud. Selena whirls around, completely thrown by what she's seeing. Why would she stab herself like that? She's deliberately inflicting pain to break free of the mind control. And now that she's loose, she's fully locked in, ready to kill. She lunges forward, a hand wrapping around Selena's throat, the knife raised to finish it. Driven by pure terror, Selena stumbles backward into the wall. It cracks under the impact. The girl sneers. You're very strange. I almost fell for your trick. But if you don't come with me, this is your last day alive. Just as she's saying it, there's a sharp knock at the door from the outside. The room's been too loud to ignore. A voice calls in, you only went in to change clothes. What's taking so long? Why is all that noise coming from in there? Hina, the bald girl, presses a hand to her face, thinking this couldn't be going worse. No one responds from inside for a long, tense moment. Hyun makes the call. He steps forward and slams through the door. The attacker immediately lets go of Selena and spins toward the entrance, a sharp, dangerous look in her eyes. She tilts her head at him and says, are you watching the chaos, or do you actually want to die coming in here? She launches herself at him at full speed, and from the look in her eyes, she's not here to talk. Just then, Noah jumps in front of Hyun, throwing out a warning. Hyun, be careful, she's way more dangerous than she looks. But as soon as the girl hears Hyun's name, she completely freezes. Her eyes widen, a cold sweat breaks out on her face, and her whole body just seems to lock up. She's not sure what's happening to her. Could this really be the same Hyun she once knew? She takes a hesitant step closer and it hits her. This is the same Hyun who, back in university, wiped out every thug in the building with barely any effort. The memory flashes in her mind, one hand stuffed in his pocket, picking up the strongest guy in the room like he weighed nothing, grinning as if none of it was a big deal. Now, just like back then, Hyun slips his hand from his pocket, and a pulsing red aura begins to glow around him. This girl has done terrible things herself. She knows what she's capable of, but right now, every instinct is screaming at her. If I try to attack Hyun, today is the day I die. Her mind races furiously, desperate to find some way to survive. Noah keeps his guard up, raising a hand in front of Hyun, repeating, "Stay alert." But then something happens that none of them expect. Instead of attacking, the girl collapses to her knees at Hyun's feet, lowering her head as if in surrender. She stays there, unmoving, for a few stunned seconds. The girl lifts herself off the floor, then crawls toward Hyun on her hands and feet. She stops in front of him and says, "Master, punish me. I'll do whatever you command." Everyone in the room is stunned. Hyun doesn't move. He just stands there, hands in his pockets, while energy seems to radiate from him. He looks down and says, "Tell me the truth. Who is your real master? Who sent you here?" She looks up at Hyun and replies, "You're my master. I already told you. Don't you believe me?" Suddenly, the girl pulls off all her clothes and stands there unashamed, asking, "What do you think of me now?" Noah and Ethan both stand there in shock, unable to process what's happening. Even Noah has to pull himself together before he blurts out, "Why did you take off all your clothes?" He stares at Hyun and shouts, "I had no idea your taste was this intense." The girl gives Noah a strange look and asks, "So, what do you think of me?" But beneath her odd behavior, there's another plan at work, a secret no one suspects. She slips a smoke grenade from her pocket, tosses it into the room, and thick smoke begins to fill the air. Everyone immediately realizes the whole thing was just a distraction. Her true plan was to escape from the start. Within seconds, she bolts for the door at full speed, teeth gritted and desperate to get away. But just as she's about to reach the exit, Hyun appears in front of her in a flash and grabs her by the face, lifting her off the ground with no effort. The girl's eyes go wide in fear as Hyun lifts her up. She blurts out, "Please don't kill me. I have valuable information for you. The girl you rescued yesterday, along with her two brothers, they've already been taken to the Colosseum. If you kill me now, you'll never know what happened to them." She squeezes her eyes shut, bracing herself. But Hyun loosens his grip just a little. He looks her straight in the eye and says, "I don't care." Without a moment's hesitation, Hyun hurls her through a broken window. Glass shatters as she plummets straight into the floodwaters below. The current, full of mutated monsters from the Great Flood, quickly pulls her under. She doesn't resurface. Afterwards, Noah and Ethan gather their wits. Hyun is still watching them silently as Noah asks, "So, who was that girl anyway?" Ethan explains, "Her name was Gina. We brought her two big brothers here for treatment. I just saw them. When did they disappear? They couldn't have gone far." Hyun stays silent, barely reacting, while Noah clenches his jaw, clearly frustrated. He says, "We have to do something. If we don't rescue them soon, those joint rats will eat them alive." The second Noah mentions rats, Hyun's attention flickers. That same unsettling energy courses around him. Everyone in the room can feel it. This is the university where the joint rats evolution first started. He hasn't forgotten. Hyun finally asks, "Rats? What are you talking about?" Without waiting for an answer, he strides out, saying, "Let me see for myself." Who are these rats and what do they want? Selena quickly follows him. She definitely doesn't want to stay behind and risk another attack. Noah watches them go, realizing Hyun is probably heading straight for the Colosseum. If so, that's going to be dangerous. Noah tries to reason. Wait, think for a second, don't just rush into another conflict. Meanwhile, not far away, there's a large lab with a heavy metal cage and a wooden platform nearby. Gina's two brothers are tied up on that platform. Standing above them is Taesung. Taesung calls down to Gina, "If you agree to fight in the Colosseum, I'll let your brothers go." He glances sideways. They're both tied up, balanced on the edge of the platform. If they slip, they could die at any moment. One brother calls out, "Gina, don't believe anything he says. Get out of here quickly." Taesung laughs. "Your advice is sweet, but it's already too late." Gina stands her ground, gripping her staff. She stares him down and says, "I'm not the running type. Are you telling the truth? If I win, will you really let them go?" Taesung promises, "Survive here, and I'll release them both." The cage behind him swings open with a heavy clang. A monstrous rat lumbers out, fangs bared. The moment Gina hears the cage unlock, sweat breaks out on her forehead. She realizes just how much trouble she's in. Trembling, she glances back. The rat is massive, its mouth packed with deadly teeth, lunging right at her. Before she can react, the beast sinks its jaws into her arm. She tries to fight back, clutching her staff with the other hand, but the rat is far too strong. It shakes her like a rag doll, tossing her around and sending fresh waves of pain through her body. Gina screams even louder as the giant rat's jaws clamp onto her arm. At this moment, her mind reels back to better times with her brother's memories she's desperate to hold on to. She remembers a day when her brothers returned from the forest, arms loaded with mushrooms. One grins, "Look, we found so much food today. We're going to eat until we're full." She squints suspiciously and asks, "Are you sure these mushrooms aren't poisonous?" Her bald brother, sitting beside her, turns serious. "There's no way we'd let you eat anything dangerous. If we don't even know whether it's safe, how can we feed it to our little sister?" With that, he gathers up the mushrooms and eats a huge mouthful himself, shocking the others. They stare, wide-eyed. "Did you really just do that?" He shrugs. "I'll try them first. If I don't die, then you guys can eat too." But seconds later, he starts foaming at the mouth. Both siblings leap in panic, horrified. "What's happening to you? The mushrooms really are poisonous." The bald brother looks dazed and says, "I'm seeing a sky full of red umbrellas." Their panic rises and the others urge him, "Quick, throw up all those mushrooms." A few days later, before heading out on a mission, both brothers try to reassure Gina. "If we complete this task, we'll get enough contribution points to never worry about food again. When we come back, let's have a huge feast with something delicious." She never imagined things would end up like this. Back in the present, her brothers are drenched in sweat, terror etched on their faces as they see their little sister fighting for her life. They start yelling desperately, "Don't worry about us. Run while you still can. Just get out alive." Taesung scowls, annoyed. "Can't you let me enjoy the show? You two are making way too much noise." With a dismissive gesture, one of Taesung's men strides over and kicks out the stool beneath the brothers' feet. The ropes tighten around their necks. They bite down hard, fighting to breathe, totally helpless as Gina still struggles with the rat. Despite the pain, Gina glances back to see what's happening to her brothers. Fury lights up her face as she grits her teeth. She raises her staff in one last burst of strength and jams it directly into the rat's eye, snarling, "Just die already!" The beast howls in agony, releasing her and thrashing in pain. Gina collapses onto the ground, arm badly wounded, but finally free. Despite her injuries, Gina grabs her brother's platform with her good hand and tries to drag herself closer, tears streaming down her face. Through gritted teeth, she calls out, "Just a few more seconds. I am almost there. I will save you, I promise." She pushes on, barely able to support her wounded arm as she crawls, desperate and determined. But the monstrous rat is not done. It lunges at her again, pinning her down with a crushing paw on her back. Gina slams into the ground, gasping. Taesung watches this, cackling from above. He shouts, "You pathetic little thing. How can someone like you even think about saving anybody? You should be focused on saving yourself first. Foolish dreams, people like you are just meant to die." But even as Gina hits the floor, she keeps crawling, refusing to give up on her brothers. The rat, now completely enraged, zeroes in on her for the kill. Meanwhile, the ropes around her brothers' necks tighten even more. They can barely breathe. Gina sobs in frustration, thinking, "Why is this happening to us? I just wanted to survive with my brothers. Is this really the end? Who is even left who could save me now?" Suddenly, Hyun appears out of nowhere. With one swift motion, he backhands the monstrous rat so hard, its head literally rips off and flies across the room, separating cleanly from its body. Gina looks up at him. At first, she thinks he just took down the monster. But as she properly takes in the scene, her eyes widen when she sees the rat's head lying meters away. Who is this guy? How can anyone be this powerful? Then Ethan, Noah, and Selena arrive on the scene. Noah, eyes wide, mutters, "Man, Hyun is so impulsive and hot-headed. Who knows what he will do next when he is angry?" But the sight of Hyun's power leaves both Noah and Ethan stunned. Selena, meanwhile, grows anxious. She has never seen Hyun this furious before. She has no idea what he might do now. Up on the balcony, Taesung, who was just laughing at the misery below, suddenly stops cold. He is sweating now as he realizes what Hyun just did with a single slap. His mocking expression melts away, replaced by real fear. Moments ago, he was making fun of people like Gina for daring to hope for survival, but now he is silently praying for his own life. Hyun lifts his hand, examining it, and thinks, "I used barely any force. And this was the result. So this rat was not anything special, just big, no core, no real threat. But, he pauses, mind racing. Something about these mutants feels different than before. Taesung snaps back to rage and screams at his men, "Open all the cages, go on! If you are so eager to die, I will grant your wish." One by one, the metal gates slam open, and a horde of enormous rats start charging straight at Hyun. As the chaos erupts, Selena helps care for the injured girl, while Ethan and Noah drag her two brothers to safety. Noah urges them, "You need to rest for a moment and recover before we make our escape." The little sister throws herself at her brothers, overjoyed to find them alive. "Are you both okay?" she asks, relief pouring through her voice. Her brothers smile back, gently scolding her. "We should be worrying about you. That giant rat bit right through your arm. You are the one who needs to rest." The smallest sibling clings to Selena in a grateful hug and says, "I did not save anyone. All of us survived because of Hyun." Meanwhile, on the other side of the complex, footsteps squelch along the wet floor. It is the same girl Hyun threw out the window earlier. Soaked and limping, she makes her way to a shadowy figure. Dr. Han, hunched over cages and glass tanks, clearly running experiments on all these rats. Dr. Han looks up, curiosity sharp in his eyes. "So, is this the guy you mentioned? Is he going to mess with my experiment's results?" he asks. She nods. "He is the perfect subject for your research. Everything you are looking for, you will find it in him." Glancing at the chaos through a monitor, Dr. Han muses aloud, "These rats are the pinnacle of scientific experimentation. If Hyun dies here, he is nothing special, no one worthy of joining my research. But if he survives..." He is cut off as he looks back at the screens, only to see that, in the short time it took him to speak, Hyun has completely torn through the wave of mutant rats. A simple knife in his hand, he has already reduced the entire horde to pieces. He moves so fast, most spectators could not even process what happened. Down near the field, Noah and a burly, bearded man stare in shock, utterly speechless. The bearded man fumbles for words. How could he do that? Meanwhile, Noah whispers, "Is that really the same Hyun I knew back in school? The one who used to get bullied, who always needed my help?" Taesung's eyes nearly pop out of his head as he watches Hyun mop the floor with dozens of monsters. Fear grips him. How can anyone be this strong? He starts to question his own next move. For Hyun, though, it is all about the details. He notices, "I killed so many of these rats, but none of them had any kind of core. And yet, this mutation feels different from before." Before he can draw more conclusions, a loud voice blares out from speakers. It is Dr. Han, now addressing the entire arena. "Taesung, Noah, listen closely. That man is the exact person I need for my experiments. Do not harm him. Bring him to me no matter what." Both Taesung and Noah react in their own ways. Taesung actually grins, finally, a direct order from the boss. "This is my chance to prove myself." Noah, meanwhile, hesitates, torn inside. How can I turn on my friend after everything we have been through? But fear of Hyun's power is real, and Taesung does not dare move against him, even with the order hanging over his head. Dr. Han's voice crackles through the speakers again. "I want him alive or dead. However you manage it, just bring him to me." Nearby, Ethan whispers urgently to Selena, "You need to get out of here. It is way too dangerous now, and it is not safe for any of us anymore." Selena shakes her head, steeling herself. "As long as Hyun is here, I'm not going anywhere. I will stay right by his side." Across the stadium, Taesung starts laughing maniacally, then turns to Noah. "I heard this guy is like your brother, is he not? But if you want to survive in this world, you have to follow the boss's orders, even if it means turning on your own blood. The only reason you are still alive is because of the boss. So what will you do now? Save your friend or follow your orders?" Hyun catches Noah's troubled look. "Why are you hesitating, Noah? What is going through your head?" Noah reveals the truth to Hyun in a grave voice. This Dr. Han, when everything went to hell, he started running experiments on people. He invented a drug that makes humans stronger, lets them eat things no normal person could, and even survive on food that should kill them. Remember how Taesung's 3 junior lackeys ate a sea monster and somehow made it out alive? That is the same stuff. He explains, "That is why Dr. Han controls the entire university. Everyone here is forced to obey, because once you start taking the drug, you have no choice. You need another dose every week or at regular intervals. If you skip it, forget being strong, you will become so weak you can barely stand." Hyun asks quietly, "If I told you I have a cure for this, would you join me? I swear I really do have a solution." But Noah's expression grows dark, shadows sweeping across his face. "Sorry, brother, but I do not think I have a choice anymore." Across the room, Taesung is still cackling, gleeful at the tension. "I never thought my day would get this good." Two brothers about to go at it, it is going to be one hell of a show. With an evil grin, Taesung says, "Let us get this drama started." The boss is waiting, after all. He draws a weapon and lunges straight at Hyun, but at that very moment, Noah launches himself across the floor, landing a brutal kick right into Taesung's face, knocking him to the ground. Standing tall, flexing as if he is in a Bollywood action flick, Noah declares, "Not today. Today I am not listening to the boss. I am standing by my brother." Taesung, sprawled on the floor, spits out blood and screams, "How dare you betray our boss? You have only survived this long because of him." But Noah stands defiant, energy practically crackling off him as he says, "What boss? He is nothing but a manipulator. He used us and trapped us with his drug. I do not care if I die today. I will accept my fate. But I will not betray my brother, my friend. If you want Hyun, you will have to go through me first." Off to the side, Hyun watches this play out with a slow, proud smile. Flashbacks flicker in his mind, Noah always standing up for him back at university, always ready to throw hands with the bullies and protect his friends, no matter the odds. Suddenly, Noah leaps forward, declaring, "Today is your last day." But Taesung just sneers back, "No, today is the day you die. I will beat you so badly and break so many of your bones that even the boss's miracle drug will not be able to save you." Noah stands his ground and says, "Then try surviving my attack first. We will see who is left standing and who gets their bones broken." With that, he launches a furious barrage of punches at Taesung, blows strong enough to shatter any ordinary person. But to Noah's shock, Taesung barely seems hurt at all. Laughing, Taesung explains, "Our boss always knew you would betray him someday. That is why he only gave you the first level drug. I got the second level version." Noah is taken aback. "You mean you have a stronger dose than I do?" Taesung points at himself with a smirk. "This fat on my body, it is my protective layer. No matter how hard you hit, you will not be able to hurt me. It is the ultimate defense. Nobody is breaking through it." Noah cannot believe what he is hearing. So the drugs were never equal, even that was a trap. Suddenly, Taesung hurls both his weapons at Noah with all his strength. Noah, reeling but alert, catches them, but the attack does real damage. Blood runs from his mouth as the impact shakes his entire body. Still, he refuses to drop the fight. Taesung presses his advantage, trying to drive Noah into the ground with overwhelming force. Noah holds his own, using everything he has got left. Taesung taunts, "Still got some power, huh? You will not for long." He slams a button on his weapons and a surge of electricity crackles from them, shocking Noah with a violent jolt. Noah grits his teeth, refusing to give Taesung the satisfaction, and says, "Is this how low you are? Even with more power, you have to resort to cheap tricks. Who even puts electricity in their weapons?" As Noah struggles to keep his grip, suddenly a powerful kick smashes right into Taesung's weapons. It is Hyun. His kick is so forceful that both of Taesung's weapons slam straight into Taesung's own body, sending electric shockwaves through him instead. It is a complete turnaround. The arena falls silent as everyone realizes what just happened. Taesung, once the leader once so feared, now lies collapsed, unable to move after one move from Hyun. Watching everything from his hidden lab, Dr. Han, the boss who gave the orders to capture Hyun, feels his obsession growing. I was interested in Hyun before, but after seeing these powers, my curiosity has only increased. In this post-apocalypse, I have spent every resource, every moment, chasing the secret to creating the perfect human through experiments. This obsession has brought me more breakthroughs than I ever imagined. Staring into the screens, Dr. Han's thoughts race. If I want to move my project to the next stage, I need Hyun. He is the only subject who can make my vision come true, a true perfected human. Now, Dr. Han's voice echoes through the speakers, filling the arena with his twisted excitement. "So Hyun, what do you think of my offer? Shake hands with me, join my experiments, and you could become the perfect human." A strange aura ripples around Hyun as he answers, his tone dangerously serious. "What exactly do you mean by perfect human? Do you want to turn me into one of your lab rats? Is that not the point of your experiments, turning people into monsters?" Up in his observation room, Dr. Han pushes his glasses up his nose and grins. "So you have figured it out. Yes, that is my plan. Human and rat DNA are remarkably similar. I want to mix the two and create hybrids, beings who can survive, even conquer this entire post-apocalyptic world. Once my experiments are complete, this hellish world will become paradise for us and we will rule it all." Dr. Han's voice brims with enthusiasm as he asks, "So, what do you say? Is my offer not interesting? Are you not even a little excited?" Hyun does not hesitate. Cleaning his ear, utterly unimpressed, he says, "No, your idea is just disgusting. Even hearing about it makes me sick. It is an absolute joke. Dr. Han's face falls, clearly disappointed. He had truly believed Hyun might be tempted. Instead, Dr. Han sighs, then switches tactics. Wait just 2 seconds. Let me show you what human evolution really looks like. He gives an order to the same girl Hyun threw from the window. She fires a dart gun, injecting Taesung with a powerful third-level drug. Instantly, Taesung's body begins to mutate in horrifying ways. His skin looks like it is melting, his form warping and contorting, becoming even more monstrous than before. Witnessing this, Gina's brothers and Noah are left speechless. What is happening? It is as if his flesh is being dissolved and remade. Selena watches with horror, realizing just how warped these experiments truly are. Ethan whispers, Taesung was always huge. His body, fat, protected him from everything. But now, from above, Dr. Han explains, he already had the power of a sumo wrestler. But now, with my drug, he has reached a whole new level. His strength is unmatched and his healing factor is 10 times stronger. He can recover from almost any wound in seconds. With relish, Dr. Han asks Hyun, now what do you think? Is our research not incredible? But, as expected, Hyun just flips him off with a dry glare and replies, no, your project is still terrible. All you are doing is creating monsters out of people because you have no idea how to make humans truly strong. Hearing Hyun's blunt rejection, Dr. Han is visibly disappointed. All this time, he thought his offer would finally convince Hyun. But he quickly regains his composure, his tone icy as he speaks over the loudspeakers. If you will not join me willingly, I will just take you by force. Taesung, bring him to me, alive or dead. I need his genes. The order barely leaves Dr. Han's mouth before Taesung, now completely mutated and monstrous, charges at Hyun with terrifying speed, like a rabid beast that knows there is no way back. He barrels forward, his only thought to destroy. Everyone in the stands and on the sidelines stares in alarm, sensing how dangerous this has become. Selena, in particular, can scarcely hide her worry, but Hyun just readies himself, standing calm and collected, unshaken by Taesung's transformation, drugs, or wild aggression. Taesung launches himself like a bowling ball, aiming straight for Hyun. With flawless confidence, Hyun catches him barehanded, unfazed, even as he feels the artificial power humming through the batteries attached to Taesung's body. Hyun smirks and says, just because you load a weapon with batteries does not make it stronger. He yanks one of the batteries out and dangles it in front of Taesung. Here, why do you not test it for yourself? Without thinking, Taesung in his rage crushes the battery right in his mouth. Instantly, there is a huge explosion, an echoing bang that rocks the arena. Hyun steps away smoothly and says, well, that is finally over. That was honestly getting annoying. Selena and Noah stare in disbelief. Did Hyun really finish Taesung just like that? Even Noah cannot quite believe Taesung has gone down so quickly. But Dr. Han's voice returns through the speakers, a grudging note of respect mingling with frustration. Clever, Hyun, using the battery to finish your opponent in one blast. But you forgot one thing. My level 3 drug has boosted Taesung's healing so much that he can recover from almost anything. Right on cue, the audience watches in horror as Taesung's broken, burned body suddenly starts to mend itself. In just a few seconds, he is standing again, more mutated, more monstrous, and less human than ever before. From above, Dr. Han boasts, the evolution you are witnessing makes your powers look insignificant. Taesung is not even recognizable as human anymore. He is something totally new. Hyun looks at the twisted creature with open disgust and frustration. How annoying can you get? Why will you not just stay down? Fueled by irritation, Hyun charges and unleashes a furious storm of punches and kicks, determined to end it once and for all. While fighting, Hyun is thinking fast. No one here knows the truth about superpowers or the existence of crystals, he reminds himself, and that is how it should stay. So I need to use my abilities, but I have to hide them. No one can find out. Hyun is not throwing punches at Taesung because he expects to hurt or finish him off. He knows by now that Taesung shrugs off almost any attack. Instead, Hyun's only goal is to kick up a cloud of dust, dirt, and thick smoke all across the battlefield, making it impossible for anyone to see what is really happening. From the sidelines, even Selena is confused, turning to her friends and saying, where is all this smoke coming from? I cannot see a thing out there. High up in his chamber, Dr. Han also grows suspicious. What is Hyun doing down there? Why cause so much chaos and dust? The scientist senses there is a plan but cannot figure it out yet. Just as the smoke reaches its thickest, Hyun leaps straight at Taesung. While soaring through the air, he is still calculating. Taesung is regenerating over and over. Maybe there is something useful in Dr. Han's research after all. Then, with one calm breath, Hyun activates his space ability. This is what I have prepared for, he thinks. I did not just stock up on food and water. I stored broken buildings, iron rods, and rubble inside my storage too. Drawing on his power, Hyun hurls a massive barrage of debris all at once. Chunks of concrete, metal rods, and huge boulders smashing down on Taesung with brutal force. Gravity and raw impact combine in a devastating attack. There is a thunderous explosion as everything hits at once. Outside the dust-choked arena,
Hoje a vida mudou. E hoje eu não quero mais pegar você. Sabe por quê? Porque sua amiga eu vou pegar e laraiaraia. Só porque eu vou pegar e laraiaraia. Sua tia eu vou pegar e larararara.
As the dust finally clears, the scene is surreal. Hyun sits calmly atop a mountain of rubble, broken stone, twisted metal, and construction debris piled high all around him, in a pose full of attitude and confidence. Underneath that avalanche, Taesung is buried and hopefully finished for good. Hyun's friends stare, jaws dropped. How did that much debris end up here out of nowhere? Dr. Han, furious at the failure, slams his fist down and says into the microphone, "Useless. I gave you level 3 drugs and still you could not complete one simple task. Bring me that man alive. You could not even follow direct orders. That was your biggest mistake and now you will pay the ultimate price. Death." Turning his wrath toward Hyun, Dr. Han says, "Do not move. I am coming down there myself to deal with you."